pilot episode. Why? Why is there another podcast? We do not need another podcast. That is possibly the last thing the world needs right now is another podcast. Why? I am doing this because I have a problem. What is this problem? The problem is that I love baseball, and that led me to write a screenplay about baseball. It was the second feature that I finished, and it's not great, not right now, not at all. But it's done, and it's the second feature script that I finished, and it's a baseball script, and it's called The Bullpen. And so through the process of me trying to make this script as good as it can be, and it's still a very long ways away from that. But through the process of me working on it and really wanting to make it better, is that I've been seeking out so much baseball, information. It is so many baseball things are, in my head all the time, whether it's, YouTube videos or fantasy baseball, or if the Cardinals are pissing me off, or, whatever it is. I think about baseball more than most people, and that's been a thing for a while, and that's cool and everything. But as I said, I'm seeking out so much information, and I realized like 2 nights ago, like I'm sleeping, or I wasn't sleeping, but I was like, barely sleeping, still thinking, I guess. And I was thinking just how much baseball I'm taking in every day, and like how hilarious it is. And I was realizing that lately I haven't been getting as much done on this script that, I've wanted to. With as much baseball information as I'm taking in, I'm not getting as much work done on this creative, work that I'm trying to do. I'm not getting as much done as I know I can. And, there's creative stuff there. It feels like there's spurts where, it's going great. And then, you lose that momentum, and getting that back is really hard, at least for me. So I was thinking about it, and, I'm taking in so much baseball shit, and I'm just like, okay. And that's led me to here, and why I'm sitting here, talking into my AirPods, because I didn't want to dig out the mic, because the solution I came up with is this. Um, 1 day a week, 10 minutes of me essentially just whatever I feel like talking about. I will be able to tell myself that every week I have a 10 minute, or more, God forbid more if I want to talk more, but I don't think I will. Um, but now, I'll know I have a 10-minute window every week where, I can, write stuff down about baseball, and, think about it, think about what I want to say, think about what I, want to talk about, various things. I see nothing but fun ahead. But part of that fun is I'm not going to try to make this something that it's not. That is the easiest way for me to not commit to this. And I'm very aware of who I am as a person, and I need to make this as easy as possible in its earlier stages, and I need to build a habit. And once I build a habit, assuming I'm enjoying it, which that'll be the only way that you'll see me still posting episodes, is if I'm enjoying it. And maybe it becomes something more and shows get longer, whatever. But I'm not thinking about that right now. Making it very clear in this episode, right from the ground. Um, I'm my bar, 10 minutes. I will talk about baseball, and I'll do it once a week. That's my bar. That's what I see this show as. Um, so yeah, here I am, doing it. I'm very excited about it. I think it'll be very fun. Um, I don't know how long this is gonna be to the point that I'm recording now. So in case it's not long enough, I'll guess there will be one baseball thing that I'll talk about, because originally I wasn't going to talk about anything baseball, and I would just talk about the show. But here I am. So through me, looking through the internet and deciding if I actually wanted to do this or not, I of course went on Apple Podcasts, and I looked at all the different baseball podcasts and decided if doing this was still worth it. And believe it or not, I am shocked as you are. I thought it was still worth it. So here I am. I'm reading out of a notebook right now. It's happening. So through me looking through all the baseball podcasts, I come across this one where it's Mookie Betts interviewing people is what the podcast is. I don't remember what it's actually called, but it looked like it was just Mookie Betts interviewing different major leaguers. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. So the most recent episode, at the time of me watching it, it was posted 11 hours ago, fresh off the Dodgers series with the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, my team. So I see that and I'm interested. You know, it didn't look too long. I was driving McDonald's. Fuck it. So it's this podcast where it's just Mookie Betts interviewing major league players. That's what it looks like. I don't even remember what it was called. But the most recent episode that I saw on there was him interviewing Clayton Kershaw, and at the time it was posted 11 hours ago. I'm like, oh, okay, and it was apparently recorded during the series with the Cardinals. You know, my team. So I'm like, oh, really cool. You know, I like both those players, and you know, they were playing the Cardinals. It's like, oh, this might be fun. And the most interesting part from this podcast that I was listening to while driving to McDonald's to get breakfast uh, was Clayton Kershaw was talking to Mookie Betts about how I think it was Under Armour discontinued his cleats, and eventually Kershaw ran out of new pairs that he had, and so he actually went to Skechers, or I say he went, but his people went to Skechers, and apparently Skechers said, "Oh, we'll make you a hell of a cleat." And Mookie Betts is, of course, giving him shit for it. How can you not? Um, but the cool thing about that I thought was, Kershaw obviously didn't care. I mean, why would you? You're that good of a pitcher. You don't care what anybody thinks about what you're wearing on the field if you're doing well. I would assume you wouldn't care at all either way. But yeah, of course, Kershaw doesn't care. He's like, oh, it works. It's comfortable. And Mookie Betts talks about how the only time that he ever cared or noticed Kershaw's cleats was on days that he's the starting pitcher, days that Clayton Kershaw is pitching. He apparently will get fully dressed in uniform and everything and he'll go sleep in the trainer's room with his shoes untied, and everybody who goes in and out of there has to be dead quiet. So everybody going in and out of that room pre-game, hours and hours before pre-game, where so many people have got to be going in and out of that room, and everybody has to shut the fuck up because Clayton Kershaw is in there taking a nap. And I thought that was awesome. And as hilarious as that is, the cool thing about it is nobody questions that because, it's his routine, and obviously he's successful. He's been there 16 years. That could be entirely wrong, but that felt right. But baseball is a game where Clayton Kershaw can take a nap in the training room, and everybody going in and out, however many hours before the game, has to shut up, because if you do not, you are going against the mission of why you are all there. Everybody in that building would tell you, yep, that was your bad. Should have let Kershaw sleep. It's like, oh, I needed the tape on the shelf and there's an accident. It's like, no, doesn't matter. You're wrong. You are wrong. And I don't know. I just wanted to pass that along because I thought it was great and it was awesome. And the conclusion to that, and I had to write it down because I wanted to make sure I brought it up. I think it was the Sunday game of that series, where Clayton Kershaw pitched against Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals. And Kershaw went 3 2/3, gave up 4 runs, and threw 95 pitches. Didn't have the best day. And who knows? Maybe his routine got messed up, or maybe it went perfectly fine. And baseball's just the game that any day it wants to, it'll tell you to go fuck yourself, and it's not your day. That's baseball.